Good morning. So I just wrapped up a 15k easy run, and I've been thinking over the last couple of days how ridiculously popular running has become over the last couple of years, and it's probably one of the reasons that I got into it, and I love it now as well. But this also means a lot of people are trying to capitalize on this and trying to sell you things through our favorite influencers that we love to watch in our spare time, which also can be amazing because people get to make a living doing what they love, and I could only dream of doing something like that. But when every video feels like an ad, it can be hard to distinguish what we actually need and what we might just want. So in this video, I want to take you through all the training that I'm doing, being just over 2 years in, and then also all the gear and supplements that I've used over the last couple of years, and maybe what I think I've wasted money on, so you can take that knowledge and apply it to your own training to keep things nice and simple and to just enjoy running for what it is. Alright, I'm going to take you on my 15k run now. So nice, still morning this morning. Just got an easy 15k, and I'm just going to do the same 5k loop over and over. I don't know, the more I got into running, the less I wanted to go far away from home, so I just do this 5k loop, and then if I need a toilet stop or anything like that, then I can just pop on home. So yeah, 3 times 5k, just an easy pace, and yeah, nothing too crazy. Let's get after it. To make sure that I am running easy enough on my easy runs, I track my heart rate with a heart rate strap, but I also just make sure that the pace feels easy to me. Just check in with myself every now and then. Is this easy? Could I hold a conversation at this pace? If not, then maybe I need to drop it back a little bit. And that's it. It doesn't need to be complicated. If you find yourself stressing about a high heart rate, maybe don't look at your heart rate on your watch. Just run purely based off feel. Because the anxiety from the high heart rate could cause your heart rate to go up higher. So when I was talking to you before, I don't know if you've ever tried to film yourself when you're running, but it takes up a bit of energy. And just as I was talking about heart rate, my heart rate shot up. So I just chilled out for a little bit, got my heart rate back down. But yeah, just change your watch to a different setting if you're starting to get anxiety about it, because that can cause your heart rate to spike by 10 beats per minute and then get even more annoyed about it. So yeah, all these runs are really is just getting out, making it nice and easy and getting the case, and not complicated, just running. Started to get quite hot at the end there. We haven't had crazy hot days yet for summer, but it's definitely coming. Usually gets hot around January, February. Felt like a lot longer than 15k's, but getting back into it after my half marathon, so hamstring has been playing up the last couple of weeks, but seems to be a little bit better now, so hopefully that's pretty much gone away and I can run injury free for the next couple of months. But yeah, I'll just keep an eye on it. I can feel it towards the end of the run, but we'll see how it feels. Got a 20k long run tomorrow, which I will be filming for another video, so that'll be the one after this. So today I'm going to take you through all the gear that I have, maybe the things that I regret purchasing, things that I would purchase next time, and my maybe top 3 recommendations if you're just getting into running on what to buy. So running shoes. So these are one of the things that you probably get shown the most on social media, and you definitely don't need the ones that maybe your favorite influencer is running in, and that was one of the mistakes I made early on, buying the shoes that everyone else says amazing, and then I bought them and tried to run in them, and they just didn't work for me. And even though lots of people said they were amazing, I was expecting them to be amazing, and I tried to make them work. I ran so many Ks in them and they just didn't feel good. So my first suggestion is go to a shoe clinic and get them to look at your feet, get them to analyze your running form, and hopefully they'll get you on a treadmill, film it, talk with you about it, and then recommend some shoes off that. And then even there, just, you can say you're thinking about it and maybe shop around, have a look, take that recommendation from them, go to another shoe clinic, get them to have a look at your feet, see what they recommend, and then you can look around, maybe even find one of the shops that has those shoes that they recommend for a discount. So the running shoes that I run in and like the most are the Asics Nova Blast. Now these are just a daily trainer, and the reason I'm showing you them and not going to show you the other shoes is because these are a shoe that can pretty much do it all. So if you're just starting out, you're going to want just an easy running shoe with a decent amount of cushion. Go to the shoe clinic and get one size up for you, but something similar to this where it doesn't have a plate in it and you can just do all of your easy runs in, because when you're starting out, you're going to want to be doing pretty much all easy Ks. For my other shoes, I do have them for a specific purpose, but you don't need to do that, especially when you're just starting off. You don't need a long run shoe and a speed run shoe and then a race day shoe. You probably just need one shoe. I would recommend, if you have the extra cash, maybe get 2 shoes. It could even be 2 of the same shoe, that one that you know works for you, and that way you can just alternate between them, because one, they'll take longer to wear out, you won't chew through them so quickly, but then also it just gives that cushion a little bit of time to bounce back into. In my opinion, the next most important thing other than the running shoes is running shorts. So I used to just run in ordinary gym shorts, and I didn't realize how uncomfortable they actually were until I started running in running shorts, and they feel so much better. So funnily enough, the running shorts I love are the Lululemon Fast and Free 3-inch shorts. There's so many running brands out there, and might be a little bit of playing around to find a brand that works for you. I find these really nice. They have like almost undies in them, so you don't need to wear any underwear, and then they have mesh pockets at the back so you can put all your gels in there. I think I've had about 5 gels across them total so far. You can chuck something else in these bands as well, maybe a shirt or singlet if you take it off, and then they have a little zip pocket for your keys as well. Definitely get yourself a running specific short, but shop around, find some discounts, play around with it a little bit. You don't need to buy the latest ones, you don't need to buy the really expensive ones, just ones that are comfortable for you, because you're going to spend a lot of time in them. So that's going to lead on to maybe getting a running shirt. I do run a lot of my runs in just these basic cotton singlets, especially in the winter. I run really hot, so in the winter I'm still pretty much running in singlets. Sometimes if it's really cold, like freezing, I'll run in a long sleeve, but it's still quite a thin long sleeve. Something like this. This was from Lululemon, but you could get something from Amazon that's really similar. It's just like a active wear long sleeve t-shirt. I don't even know if it's specific to running, but it works for me. It's comfortable. I've just got some basic gloves, which I'm not sure where they are at the moment because it's summer here in New Zealand. And then I've just got this North Face beanie, but you could wear any beanie. You don't have to buy a North Face one. This was just one I had for general day-to-day use, and now I wear it for running. So yeah, that's what I would wear. Those singlets are about $20 New Zealand, so really cheap, and I run in them a lot. In the summer, I do either run shirtless if it's early in the morning. I don't know if I like running residential areas without a shirt on. I feel like a little bit of a douche sometimes, but that's another story. But yeah, in the summer I either run in those, but the cotton t-shirts can get a little bit hot, so sometimes I like to get a little bit more of a running specific either singlet or t-shirt during the summer, because they are a little bit cooler. But once again, you can find a cheap one on Amazon or at a local store on sale. So obviously running socks go with the shoes. I pretty much always wear the Features running socks or the Injinji toe socks. So these are amazing. I wore them on my marathon. I got no blisters, absolutely. I've actually never had any blisters with Features or Injinji socks, so I highly recommend those. Wouldn't recommend running in your standard cotton sock. I have done it a bit and not got any blisters, but your shoe feels so much nicer when you wear a specific running sock. I can't remember exactly what they're made out of, but definitely a lot nicer than your standard cotton socks. So, and yeah, those would be the most important things other than a running watch. So this is my running watch. It's the Garmin Forerunner 465. I'll put it up on the screen. I'm not sure, but it's about middle of the range Garmin Forerunner. It wasn't too expensive, and I got about $200 off it when I bought it. So I think I got it for about 650 New Zealand, which is pretty good for a running watch, and I absolutely love it. It is everything that I need, and I don't really need anything more The battery lasts for about a week, depending how many runs I do, how many workouts I'm doing. I can get right up to about eight runs a week. All my texts and messages and phone calls come through it. It's not super high tech or anything, but I find it really accurate, and obviously I use it every day, every run. So super important to get yourself a watch. Even something like the Chorus Pace 3, I've heard, is an absolutely amazing watch and pretty cheap as well. So that could be a good one to get yourself started. It is important to have something because you need to be tracking the runs. Believe you want a dual band GPS, so they are a little bit more accurate. I used to have an Apple Watch Series 6 and I don't think they had a dual band GPS, and my GPS would be so off. And now to connect with the running watch, I do have Polar heart rate strap, and this again is one of the cheaper options, so it's quite a bit cheaper than the Garmin ones. Whilst the Garmin ones will be really nice, they are quite expensive, or at least the ones that I've seen. And I got this one on sale for about $100 New Zealand, and it connects automatically to my watch. It's 99% accurate, I believe. The sensor comes off the heart rate monitor. Actually, one of my subscribers recommended it to me, and I can just chuck the strap straight in the wash and keep the sensor off it, whereas I believe some of the other brands, the sensor will stay on it and you can't just chuck it in the washing machine. So that's a big benefit, and then if the strap breaks, I can just get a new one. So I don't recommend that. You don't have to have that, but I like to run, like I said this morning, to a bit of a mixture of heart rate and perceived effort. So I'm looking all the time to see what my heart rate is to make sure I'm staying around about in zone 2 or an easy pace, and then also I'm going based off how I feel. So you could just run based off how you feel and looking at your monitor on your watch, but I believe the watch monitors aren't super accurate. So it could be something that you look into, especially if you're getting into it more, but you don't have to have it. I went a long time without having it. Running sunglasses. So this is something that you'll see online. Just about every influencer or creator has them. I have them as well, and I probably got influenced to buy them, and they are quite expensive. I didn't get it on a discount, and you don't have to have running sunglasses. It's not something that I highly recommend. Whilst I do love mine, you don't have to have them. So yeah, don't go out and spend $300 or $400 on running sunglasses unless you have the money and you really want them and you think they look cool or whatever else. They do work quite well. You could probably just wear some normal sunglasses until you do have the spare money to buy it, but you don't have to get them. Running hat. I'm yet to find a running hat that, one, I like and then also feels nice on my head, apart from this old Nike Dri-FIT hat. I got it years and years ago before I started running as just like a gym hat, or I don't know, just to go for walks or whatever else. I think they're about $30 New Zealand, and I've been wearing it on my runs pretty much ever since I've been running. And maybe it doesn't look the best, it just works. It's really comfy. I just chuck it on and then I just chuck it in the wash once or twice a week because it stinks now, and then yeah, it's super cheap as well. I could probably search around, find myself a little bit of a nicer running hat, but once again, you don't need to spend a lot on it. It's just something you can chuck on in the mornings if you have beard hair or you want to keep the sun out of your eyes. So now my handheld water bottle. This is something I do recommend if you're getting into a longer run. So similar to the supplements, they're going to be quite important to your training. You don't feel like you're carrying the bottle because they come with a little strap that goes onto your hand, and this is just the Solomon one. I think it was about $30 New Zealand, something like that, and it works well. I did pretty much all of my marathon training block and my marathon using that. It just means I can carry water and electrolytes with me, and I'll just do a 5k loop around home and drop it off or pick it up whenever I want to. Maybe not until you get a little bit deeper into your running. So if you're just starting out and your runs aren't that long, maybe you don't need to get it. But if your runs are starting to be over an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours and so on, yeah, you maybe want a handheld water bottle to train with, depending what you like. Some people don't like holding onto them, and maybe you could get a vest if you really want to, and when you're on your longer runs, and then you can carry your phone and whatever other bits and pieces, gels with you if you wanted to. So definitely get what works for you, but that's what I like to wear or use. I don't really like the feel of the running vest. I might have to get used to it if I do ultra marathons, but at least for the marathons and my training, I'm not going to race in them, and I don't want to train in them either. They do jump up and down quite a lot, and when you've got a lot of stuff in there, they can feel quite heavy too. So headphones. So I actually haven't worn headphones in a wee while, but I used to wear just wireless AirPods, and now I've got some wired ones, mainly because I left my wireless headphones outside and they got ruined in the rain. You don't need to spend $300-400 on running headphones. Whilst they are nice and I have used some in the past, you don't have to, and I really like going out for a run without any headphones in. It's a time where I can think and concentrate on my run also as well, especially my speed workouts. I find my speed workouts are so much better if I'm just no headphones, concentrating on my pace, what I'm doing, how I'm feeling, and then I can replicate that in the races. And that's most of my running gear. Hopefully I didn't forget anything, and hopefully that gives you a little bit of an idea on what you should and shouldn't buy when you're first starting out, and hopefully you don't get caught in the marketing trap of social media at the moment. But maybe I'll be in the same position promoting some brands that I believe in the future. That would be amazing, but obviously only brands that I believe in. But now I'm not sponsored, so I can give my unbiased opinion on what you should and shouldn't get. The main takeaway is just to get what works for you. You don't have to buy the expensive things, and quite often you'll be able to find stuff on sale or discounts or on Amazon for cheaper, and they'll still feel really comfortable. So good luck shopping for your running gear. Alright, so before we have dinner and I chat to you about food, I thought I'd quickly chat to you about my training and everything that I've learned over the past couple of years, and I'll condense it down to hopefully be nice and short and sharp for you and de-influence anything that you're seeing online, because there's a whole lot of people saying a whole lot of stuff on social media at the moment, and it can be confusing. And I'm no expert, I'm no professional coach or professional athlete, but I've been running for just over 2 years and I've definitely learned a thing or two. So I just wrapped up a second 70k week in a row, and I'm currently in my base building block, which I made a video of, which was actually my last video, so go check that out if you want a little bit more in depth on my training and what I'm doing at the moment. But in regards to your training, especially when you're starting out, all you need to do is run, and you might be doing run walks at the start, and just do easy runs. Don't add any speed work in there. I know it looks cool, I know lots of people doing it on social media, but it's just not necessary, and you're probably going to give yourself an injury. It depends what your weakness is and depends what your background is, but if you can run but you have to stop after a certain period of time, it's because your aerobic endurance isn't there, and you need to build that up. So you just need to be doing some run walks, build those run intervals up, and also try and run consistently. So you might be doing once or twice every week for a few weeks, and then you might add in a third run and a fourth run, but just make sure that you're not increasing your overall volume too quickly, because that will lead to injury. So if you feel little niggles come up, don't run, have a rest, have a few rest days, make sure you're not feeling too sore before you go back out on your next run, but build it up slowly. When you first start running, maybe don't enter in a race too soon, because you need to build a bit of a base. You need your body to get used to running, used to the training before you go into a prep for a race. And I made the mistake, and I've said many times before, I entered in a race pretty much straight away when I first started running, and I got injured and I couldn't do the race anyway, and it probably put me behind. I might be further ahead than I am now because I couldn't run for 6 weeks or however long it was. So we want to run consistently, and anything that puts us out is going to affect our progress. So we're actually going backwards technically. So we want to make sure that we're not injured. We want to make sure that we can run. So missing one run or deciding not to run one day is way better than going out on a run and injuring yourself. So strength training, there's so many different movements and so many different strength exercises that you can be doing. I would say at the start, just get your basic compound list down. So progressing with your squat, your Romanian deadlifts, your split squats or lunges, and then not a compound exercise, but your hamstring curl is probably super important. And then do some hip adduction and abduction exercises. Look it up if you want, but it's just inner and outer thigh is probably a good abbreviation for it. And then also add in some calf raises and some tib ant raises as well. And you might have to look them up if you want to know how to do them. But that's it. And you can do all of those movements single leg as well, so it has a bigger crossover to running, and make sure you're the same strength on both sides. But that's pretty much it for strength training. You can add some more stuff in there, but that will help you out a lot when you first start running. And that's pretty much it. For your long runs, you might not have to do them when you first start running. I wouldn't worry about them too much. There's been a little bit of research around how it's one individual long or hard run that will get you an injury, not so much if all your runs are the same distance. So I wouldn't worry too much about long runs, especially at the start. They have their place, definitely, and I've done a whole bunch of them, but they belong maybe more in your preps and when you're trying to
bring up your overall volume a lot. So when you do start your speed runs, there's so many different things that you can do, and even I get confused about it sometimes, but I would say the biggest thing is at least find a coach online that can give you a program that's maybe tailored to your experience level, and then also don't run yourself into the ground on those speed runs. Don't make yourself sick on the side of the road. There's a time and a place maybe every once in a while, but don't go so hard on your speed runs that you just can't recover from it, you can't absorb it, and potentially give yourself an injury. So yeah, that would be my advice. That's pretty much it for training. Hopefully I didn't leave anything out, but that's me trying to keep it nice and simple for you so we don't have to overcomplicate it. Easy runs, slowly build up the mileage. Don't have to worry about long runs. Get in your main compound lifts and hamstring curls and your other little ones that are pretty simple and you can look them up too. And then don't ruin yourself on your hard days, and get a training program from a coach. So we're going to cook some dinner now, and I'll have a quick chat to you about food and how I keep it pretty simple, and then the supplements that I use also. So I'm going to harp on about whole foods just as I was eating some nachos with some chips. So no, but for the most part, I try to make sure that my diet is just consists of mostly whole foods, so that I know that I'm getting, the right nutrients without a whole lot of processed shit in there. So generally, that's what I stick to maybe 90% of the time, and then 10% we might go out and get some takeaways once every so often, or have some nachos or something like that, something nice. So yeah, generally try to stick to a well-balanced diet, and that's it really. And I think the biggest thing is just remember you want to be in at least maintenance calories, maintaining your weight, or in a surplus. So you want to make sure that you're eating enough calories to be able to recover from all the training that you're doing. If you're using running as a weight loss thing, it's going to be really hard to do, because one, running is going to make you really hungry because you're going to be depleted of your glycogen stores, and then two, you're going to struggle to recover from all the training and the running that you're doing because you might not be eating enough. So make sure you're eating whole foods, and then enough of those foods, and then also making sure that you're having a relatively high protein diet. So protein is going to help build that muscle, it's going to help you recover from the workouts, and then making sure that you're getting enough carbs in with that, because carbs are what you're going to be using as fuel for your workouts. So in the mornings before my workouts, if I'm running pretty much straight when I get up, I'll just have an electrolyte drink with about 20 to 30 grams of carbs in it, and then I'll also have something light like a banana. And I know my body pretty well now, and I can run 20 minutes after having that. I can run pretty soon after. But some things are going to sit in your gut a little bit more, so things like high fiber foods, they're going to sit in your gut, and it's probably not the best thing to have right before you work out. If I'm having a bigger meal like oats and a banana, say, I'll make sure that it's at least an hour, maybe even more, before I'm running, because oats are going to take a little bit longer to digest than something like a banana or bread or something like that. So keep it pretty simple. Get to know your body, practice it, especially before you race, and then carbs before you run. I'm just going to keep it nice and simple. Go and watch my what I eat in a day. In that same video, I went in depth over my supplements, but main ones that I take is magnesium, fish oil, multivitamin, and vitamin C, and then also creatine and protein powder. And that's it. Nice and simple. Magnesium maybe is my highest rated one, because it's going to help with your sleep, and sleep's going to be so important. It's where growth hormone is released or at its highest, and your body's going to absorb and recover from the training that you're doing. So I like to prioritize 8 hours sleep, hopefully. Sometimes it's 7, sometimes it's way less, but then I'll have maybe a nap during the day or something like that to try and make up for it. It's not perfect, but I just try to do everything I can to make sure that I'm recovering from the workouts. Anyway, that wraps up my video. I hope you took something away from it. I hope it wasn't too complicated and it was nice and simple for you, and you could get some advice from someone who isn't sponsored or isn't a professional athlete and can give his maybe unbiased opinion of just over 2 years of running. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one.